That's for losers, man. I don't get involved in that stuff. But
Angel Rashad Milligan rolling out.
That's a good question.
Brandon,
We can't ask Rashad questions.
Hey, Rashad.
Yo, what's up? Welcome back to the channel, man. My name is Rashad Milligan. If you are new to the channel, this is the road to 5K subs. Just two topics today, the topics that dominated the headline and everything like that in social media. Well, it's three, and they all start with D. DDG, did D, and Dolce. I know that was really bad way of pointing it out, but I do have to say with Dolce again, I said it in the Audi interview, but you know, Aiden Ross speaking down on her and calling her talentless just because he didn't like the way that she spoke to janitors or workers, assistants, and stuff like that. I don't think you can say she's rude, you can say she's this and that, but you can't say she's talentless in the industry plant and everything, like, because it's like there's a pattern there, bro. Like, of you never saying anything. I ain't never seen Aiden Ross in all my years of watching, bro, since 2020, say anything positive about a black woman, other than like maybe say an e-girl that he brought on a date, right, on an e-date, like a Tiana Trump or K Cash, whoever the case might be, KK Vosh or whatever. I've never seen him speak positively about a black woman, and I think that's a total red flag. Okay, DDG situation, I'll get right into it, bro. So there's a couple of disclaimers I have to put at the beginning of the video speaking about DDG situation. One, I have to identify and throw out my biases out to the world, so it's not, any hidden things. So if you hear any undertones or anything like that, please call me out on it in the comments and hold me accountable. I'm calling you for fair reporting as possible, right? I have been a fan of DDGs for a few years, probably since like 2017, 2018. I've been a fan of DDGs. I've interviewed him multiple times. I've covered him. He's a guy that supported me and reposted my content every single time that I've like interviewed him, especially after that. And his community has supported me since 2019, at least on this internet. So I had to put out that bias, right, and throw that out there. Second, it's never okay, and you never have an excuse to put your hands on a woman. If you ever, are being accused or alleged, anything like that, those are serious accusations. And I have to keep the same energy with DDG that I would with anybody else with those accusations. It's never okay to put your hands on a woman, regardless of the circumstances. And we'll get into that later as well. And third, well, I don't know if I have a third, but yeah, we're gonna keep it at that. Shout out to my boy Jordan Dunlap in the building, man, for sure. So yeah, I think overall, just looking at the basic kind of facts of this situation, it appears to be that this was a relationship, obviously, that went on far too long. This is something that's far overdue. It sounds like it was something that DDG has been trying to take care of by himself and without the legal system involved. As remember the entire blow up with, oh, I didn't see my son. She said they're sick, so she didn't want them out the house. He said, okay, can I just go downstairs with them? She said, no, you need to get out. You don't never need to be around here again. And he's saying they pushing him out the house and pushing him out the crib and stuff like that. And he said he didn't want to take it to the courts because the details of their breakup and their relationship will be out in the public. And he didn't want it to get that messy and everybody in their business of the details of their nature of their relationship. And he said it got so bad, the relationship, that they always have to have a mediator, a third party, in between every single time they talk, even just on the phone to each other and stuff like that. That's way too far gone. Way too far. It still never got to that point. And DDG was not going to the courts to protect all of this information from coming out. What it seems like Halle has gone to the courts. So it's like now the information is out. Now the ugly details, at least on one side of the relationship, are out. And it's just a situation like it never would have got to this point if the relationship would have been ended earlier before a baby was in the picture, and this and that. Throughout the years, I know DDG's kind of musical career. One thing that he's always saying about and admitted in his content and admitted in his interviews is that he acknowledges the fact that he can be toxic in relationships, but it's kind of like something that he's almost made kind of like almost like a cute thing, right? Of like, I'm toxic. I can't lie. I know I got some growth to do. I'm toxic in relationships. And I think that combined with his thoughts on just having a child out of wedlock, yes, I'm gonna go antiquated, old Christian Bible thumping person here, right? That out of his plus his beliefs of having a child it was set up for this. Like it was gonna blow up, it was gonna get ugly at some point. Just because I don't think he valued marriage, and also because what else? He didn't value marriage, and then also because he was letting kind of problematic behavior become normalized. And so when you let problematic behavior become normalized, stuff that's not supposed to be going on, it kind of inches and inches and inches. So while I don't know if, what I'm saying, DDG just outright, what I'm saying, like choked the woman or shook the woman or threw her to the ground, or while I don't know if that was actually the case here, and we don't know these people. I don't know if that was necessarily the case. The things that have been noted in the enough stuff noted in the court documents and things of that sort for the courts to grant that restraining order for DDG against Halle, right? I think it was enough to show, okay, you on the Ring camera allegedly showing you throwing the phone out and yelling, go get it. You're on a Ring camera saying certain things. You're on a Ring camera, maybe perhaps taking it or throwing things, whatever the case might be. Like you're caught in 4K doing those things. And I think that's because you let the little things at the door go unchecked, like going through your phone, going through each other's phone. I find out you cheat, I'm going to cheat back. You yell and cuss at me when you might be at the time of the month or whatever, things might be testy for you and your emotions are higher and this and that. And instead of me just walking away from the situation, I'm arguing back with you. I'm cussing back at you. We texting after we broke up and decided we need to take some time away from each other, and we're crossing those boundaries and we're still reaching out and communicating with each other, even though we previously agreed it's probably best for us to take some time away from each other. Those little things of toxicity that we like made so cute and normalized are things that like little piece here, little piece here, little piece here, little piece ends up in a big blow up like what we're seeing tonight. And I think if anything, thankfully, it didn't get, much worse than what it was before. What I'm saying, Halle already took it to the courts or whatever before it even got any worse, any much more worse, because I think it's already gone way too far of what it is. I also have to say, two things can be true at one time. Yes, DDG can be a bad partner for Halle and vice versa. At the same time, DDG can still be a loving, caring father to his son Halo. Because if not, then the court wouldn't have ruled DDG just against Halle. They would have ruled DDG can't be around Halle and DDG can't be around the baby. She got full custody. You can't see the baby. It would have been like that, right? But that wasn't the case. That restraining order was just placed against him being around Halle. So according to Gilbert Arenas, who I guess I just assume has experience in this because the way he was speaking about it, he was saying that all this means is that it's got to be a third party going to pick up the child and taking them back with set up visitation. I think Okay. So now going into there's never an excuse to hit a woman, to put your hands on a woman. So there's apparently on this press run that DDG did for his album with Nessa, he said, she asked, what's a red flag? And he said, putting your hands on someone. So putting your hands on me, being violent, all of these things, that's a red flag for me. She said those are some serious kind of red flags. And he just had a straight face. And in the Shay, he said, I guess, wait, hold on. I didn't hear it, but I seen the caption that said the Shay revealed that she put her hands on DDG. I think if a woman puts her hands on her male partner first, the male partner needs to walk away. Because regardless of how much she hitting you and how much she abusing you and this and that, you know, if you retaliate in any type of way physically, you're done. You're cooked. You know what I'm saying? Like, because just anatomy, right? Like men are just naturally stronger and this and that than women. So like it's not fair. Like there's a reason why it's such harsh kind of public opinion and even just in the legal system, if a man retaliates physically against a woman, like there's reasons for that, right? There's reasons, those are the parameters and things of that sort. So if Halle was being physically abusive to DDG on that side of things, it's on DDG as the man and the father in the family, right? To, continue to have enough discipline to walk away from the situation. I think if he got to this point, or if there was some type of arguments and everything like that right before the pregnancy or during the pregnancy or everything, this stuff should have been set up. Hey, all right, we breaking up. This ain't gonna work. Blah, 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 blah. Because obviously with us, it's two spark plugs. It's two bulldogs going at each other. And it just raises up the drama level, right? Like it's just too much between us. And we can't have an amicable relationship because your emotion type is this type, my emotion type is this type, and it's just fireworks, right? It shouldn't have been what it got to. And it only got that way because, folks thought they were protecting images, whether it was Halle thought she was protecting DDG's image or whether DDG thought that he was protecting Halle's image. They didn't want this out and they wanted to handle this in-house. Obviously, they couldn't handle that in-house. It just is what it is. So those are my thoughts on the case. Acknowledging my biases of being a DDG fan and being it for years now, but also just keeping it a bean and keeping that same energy and doing my job, because if this was anybody else, it would be protect Black women, believe Black women, and we're not going to be skeptical of a Black woman's word. So I have to just keep it a bean and stay 100, man, because you know what I'm saying? Any other time where we protect Black women, isn't that? I have to make sure I keep it a bean. Just because our route with DDG don't mean like he is never wrong. She's lying. She's this and that. I feel like on the DDG fan base side, that's a very problematic way of looking at things through life, because nobody's perfect. Like at the end of the day, we're all human. We all make mistakes, whether it's a pastor. Like I remember when TD Jakes was attached to some crazy rumors, right? And like I had a minister coworker. He was like, no, Bishop Jakes was never. Bishop Jakes was never. I'm like, he ain't literally Jesus. He's just a minister. He's just a pastor. He's just a bishop. No, he's just a pastor, TD Jakes. And you know what I'm saying? And it's like some people, like when they're fans of some folks, they indirectly idolize them. And it's very dangerous to idolize anybody, any human, because every human is flawed. Every human with our flesh, like we are all flawed beings, bro. Like we're born into sin, bro. Like it just is what we are. It's human nature. So it's like, nah, just because you rock with somebody don't mean, oh no, he can't do, no, not him. Because yes him. Could have been tweaking 1 moment, 2 moments, or could have been tweaking multiple times with the same person, excuse me, because the situation, both sides let little things going for far too long. So no, man, I'm gonna hold DDG account. Like, you know what I'm saying? I'm gonna report this just like I would with any other person, bro, in this situation. So here's Glock topics pretty much summarizing Team Z's article. Halle Bailey issued a restraining order against after claiming DDG physically attacked her multiple times. In the documents, she claims things got physical in January. They broke up in October. And Halle says DDG came over to pick up their son, Halo, after she tried to start a convo with the rapper about a child visitation schedule. So I guess she was pretty much saying, like, you can't just keep coming over here, like, when you want to pick up Halo. Like, we need to have set boundaries and everything because obviously we don't mesh well together. Like, things just get bad with us. So we need to have an official schedule or we need to go to the courts. And so I guess on the other side, according to what DDG was saying, because, you know, he ran straight to stream after this, he's saying, okay, she trying to have this talk, and he like, okay, but I still drove all the way from one side of LA to the other. Can I at least just hang out with my son and care for him downstairs, you know, have him with some hot water or have him some chicken noodle soup or just sit with him, give him some tissues and just, hey, buddy, play with him, whatever the case might be. And then I'll get back in the car and go on my way to the other side of LA back home. You don't have to worry about me taking him out for the weekend. It didn't get to that point. Like, she wouldn't let him do that. And that's why he was on stream talking about, detailing this exact encounter right here. As she was buckling Halo in the car seat, she claims DDG grew agitated and repeatedly said, "Get out of my car, B-word." Halle says the baby was crying and she got nervous about DDG leaving with him in an agitated state. That's when they allegedly started wrestling, with DDG pulling her hair, slamming her face into the steering wheel, and chipping her tooth. Halle says that she was in pain and crying. Although that stopped the fighting, she was still worried about Halo, so she remained in the car for the ride over to DDG's house, where she told his family what happened. Once they were told they would take care of the baby, she left hysterical with bruises on her arms to accompany her chipped tooth. She attached photos of her injury and a request for a restraining order. The judge granted Halle a domestic violence restraining order, requiring DDG to stay 100 yards away, and gave her permission to take the nearly 18-month-old Halo to Italy, where she'd be filming a movie for 2 months. DDG also has to stop posting or streaming about her and the child. Oh, so he has to stop. He has to stop streaming about Halo? Oh, that's crazy. Halle claims the ex has been whipping his fans into a frenzy into trashing her when he live streams. I'm not even gonna lie to you. I don't fully agree with that last part because he only talked about it that one time when Halo was sick, and he was like, "I want to see my son. Let me see my son. I'll protect her. This and that." That's the only time he's bashed her in the past 2-3 years. I will say that because every other time that the internet jumped on her and was like, Halle this, Halle that, DDG's kind of ran to the internet and been like, "Nah, we not doing that. We not talking bad about Halle and this and that." January was the first time where he just straight up said like what he said. He hasn't been saying Halo's name or Halle's name since that moment. And when he was in New York and they were both in New York and he wanted to see his son, he said, "I wanted to see a very special person." He hesitated, everything like that. All of that mixed with this report coming out makes me kind of like lean towards this has been in the works for a while. He's known about the whole paperwork and legality behind the scenes and stuff like that. And he knew that the restraining order was placed on him and this and that. So that's why when the news came out on, and he was on Aiden Ross stream, or Aiden Ross was on his stream, whatever the case was, and he like, "Oh, how did that? That's not even true." I don't know why he was necessarily acting like that. Maybe he was just the initial shock that the stuff got out. And yeah, so yeah, that's how I feel about the situation, and that's what I think happened. Like I said, it's never cool to put your hands on a woman. There's never an excuse for it. And if you feel like a woman is provoking you to get physical, then you need to walk away and do whatever you can in your power to make sure that you don't get taken there. And therapy, bro, like therapy, to be honest, like, okay, how do I control my emotions to the point, you know what I'm saying, where I'm not pushed to the edge of wanting to put my hands on a woman? I think that's why I think that's weak. And yeah, you just, you know what I'm saying? It's just time for self-evaluation with men. Like me, myself, I'm not even gonna lie, like I want to definitely just on a personal note, get back into therapy and stuff like that. A lot of stuff has happened in my life in the past couple months, you know, losing some family members and you know what I'm saying, just different things that I felt like, all right, it's time for me to go back and talk to the lady. And I think as Black men, it's important that we have friends around us who are going to keep us accountable and like, okay, yeah, if this is a pattern you're seeing, if multiple people are kind of like stepping away from you, friendships are ending, and this is going on, and people are saying the same thing about you. All right, yeah, go talk to the lady, bro. Like it's okay to get help, especially before it gets too late and things get too bad, bro. You know, to avoid the situation. So that's how I feel about it. Yeah, I've supported DDG on a lot. I've criticized DDG on a couple of things. I didn't like I said, the latest thing I've criticized him on before this was him jumping into the tie the guy dub thing and saying F tie when that was like, you know what I'm saying, his friend at some point as well for the sake of defending his brother. I didn't like that at all. Because the whole back and forth between Dub and Ty the guy started with Dub unprovoked, you know, bringing up Ty and speaking down on him publicly in his vlogs on TikTok, whatever the case might be. And Ty simply has just responded to Dub and his disrespect. And then as they met together, Dub continued to be disrespectful. It's one thing to say, like, you weren't my real friend. It was just all for the internet and things of that sort. It was all business. It's one thing to say that. It's another thing to be disrespectful and call people out of their name and talk down on their jobs and stuff. If you want more information about that because you don't know, you can go just look up on my channel, Dub Ty the Guy, something like that, or whatever, and stuff like that. But yeah, so I was kind of looking at him weird after that. I'm not even gonna lie to you. But this is it's ugly. It got way too far, and I can't co-sign that behavior from DDG, regardless of how long I've been rocking with him and stuff like that, for sure. So yeah, that's how I feel about it. That's my report on the DDG stuff, and I guess I'll get into this Diddy stuff now. All right, hold on.
That's for losers, man. I don't get involved in that stuff, but
Angel Rashad Milligan rolling out.
That's a good question.
We can't ask Rashad questions.
Hey, Rashad.